is not out yet. They issued draft regulations. You heard Zolly Stevenson talk about that earlier today. We're waiting for the final regulations to come out. We have a work group at OSPI. I would be the coordinator for that work group, and then we give the K-12 piece and work with Judy Hartman from the governor's office, and then she has to bring in the higher ed piece to that application. But one thing that we do know is Part 2 of the stabilization application must be completed before we can go forward with our Race to the Top application, and it's really building the foundation for our Race to the Top application. So we're very committed to doing a good job addressing the 4 assurances that you keep hearing about. But let me give you one item of interest that's in the draft regulations. Right now it says in the draft regulations that as part of the stabilization Part 2 application, states have to collect from districts the performance measures used in teacher evaluations and in principal evaluations, and that we must report that publicly on a website. That was what was part of the draft regulations. Additionally, districts have to report how many teachers had a positive performance evaluation and how many did not. So I think, we're still working through what the final regulations are going to be, but we are very interested in seeing how that plays out, because it's going to mean new things for both SPI and for districts as far as data collection and things like that. So, now that I've all worried everyone again, but remember, I am the messenger and the only one here, so if you kill me, there will be no more conversation about it. We do have 2 stabilization sessions. Cal and I will be doing one jointly regarding what we spent in fiscal year 09 for stabilization, how you close the year accounting-wise. That's more for probably fiscal practitioners, the business office staff. Cal and I do that jointly. Cal has another one tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or sometime? Okay, so tomorrow morning, where he talks about more of the policy strategy regarding stabilization dollars and how you look at spending those dollars in light of what they are replacing. Okay? So that's our advertising. I want to go to my slides really quickly because I think a lot of you are here to talk about what is the reporting requirements. So while you've been here, I have now issued more guidance to the field. Just probably, like an hour ago, more guidance came out on the 1512 reporting. We expect iGrants to come up this afternoon. It will be similar to what happened in May. You will all rush back to your rooms tonight. You will try to do the reporting, and then you'll come back tomorrow morning and ask more questions, which is fine. That's part of the reason that we're here. So Section 1512 contained in the Recovery Act does require additional reporting. And it's to inform the public how the stimulus money is being spent at every school district. So hopefully by now we're all aware that on both the governor's recovery website and on the federal recovery website, there will be a way for the public to look up your district by name to see how many dollars you've received, how much you've spent, and how many jobs you've created or retained. Okay, that information will be out for the public to look at. We talked about those, what projects and activities are being funded. And remember, the recovery reporting wasn't just built for education, it was built for all of the ARRA stimulus money, and that includes a lot of infrastructure money that went out to Department of Transportation and Ecology, those kinds of agencies as well. So it's kind of a one-size-fits-all, and sometimes it works well for education and sometimes it doesn't, and so we're having to adapt to that. Section 1512 reporting is in addition to any other reporting that you're required to do. Let me be clear, it's more on top of everything else. Non-compliance is a big issue for the department, and so we have made some, just disclosure statements that please don't forget to send this information in to us, because we'll be held to a very high standard as far as how do we make sure everyone's reporting timely. And Really, the state must ensure that happens or the money is at risk for recovery. So the first report is due October 10th, and the first report covers from February through September 30th of 2009. One of the things that we've been collecting from all of the districts that's required by ARRA is we've been required to get your DUNS number. Some of you had them, some of you didn't. Thank you to the ESDs for helping us coordinate that work. It's greatly appreciated. The other thing that you had to do that I realized didn't make a lick of sense to us or anyone else is you had to register in the Central Contractor Reporting registration site. But that is the way that the department, somebody I'm sure had a great idea at the federal level, that is the way that the department is going to match you up with your DUNS number and your reporting information. That is the way they're going to match up how much money a vendor is getting across all programs. Okay? So the reporting package, did I go one too many? Okay, so Washington State and the governor's office has given us very specific guidance on how we are to report, and this is for all state agencies. We are the prime, OSPI is the prime as the recipient of the federal dollars, and we are to report on behalf of all of our school districts. So school districts will report to SPI, we will roll it up, and we will do parallel reporting to both the governor's office and to the feds, the OMB reporting site. We were not allowed to delegate that reporting. Let's go on. There's also some other information that the governor's office is asking us to collect, but most of that SPI can do for you. All right, I'm done. No, I only have one more slide. So the reporting form package in iGrants is going to be launched hopefully this afternoon. We think that's about a half a day early. So you all will be working on that tonight. Then it's due back to SPI by October 5th. I realize that's not very many days, and we're hoping to be able to work and expand the amount of time you have to report for the next reporting period. But unfortunately, the first time around, we got guidance up to last Monday as to what we were to include. So it's rapidly changing. We will be contacting districts. We will be contacting your superintendent if you have not yet reported to us by the morning of October 6th. And we will be asking the ESDs to help facilitate that with some of the smaller districts. So then SPI will be reviewing the data and contacting the districts October 6th through 8th. One of the things that we have going for us the first time around is that you don't have a lot to report because it's only if you have approved grant applications for which you have a grant number. And while many of you have submitted applications to Doug and Gail, there's a lot of approved IDEA applications. There's not as many for Title I and some of the smaller programs like Homeless and EdTech, that kind of thing. So the number of reports you have to issue, which is by program, is limited the first time around because all the programs aren't up and running. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you.
Although it is, I can't even. Wait, I'm hooked up.
Well, now that you're all feeling warm and fuzzy, we'll go on a little bit more. I would like, obviously, this reporting stuff is pretty onerous. And remember what I started with, 535 legislators, 1,000-page pieces of legislation. This is very complex stuff. And unfortunately, I think the USED is working very, very hard at trying to get this out to us, but it's massive. And ARRA was unprecedented. So this is what happens. You get these last-minute things going around there. And again, I joked about the messenger, but Jolene is working really hard with Cal and other folks to make sure this works well. And please be patient, do as best you can, and we'll get through this. We've got through everything else. We'll get through this one as well. Okay? Let me switch to even a little slightly different stuff here. And I'm not going to go through OSPI priorities. You've seen it, but I want to mention the first sub-bullet. 2261, I'll repeat what I said before.